There we go.
Hold on. It's muted.
We're live.
No, it's muted. Okay, yes, you heard a little bit of dead air there because I blew my nose. Leave me alone.
Okay.
The other option was to hear me go snark, snark, snark. Good morning. Welcome to Suzilla on the first day of Festivus.
Yes, first day of Festivus. We've been training all year, so it should be a long Festivus.
Yes. Happy Festivus, happy Christmas, Adam, happy Christmas Eve, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different things we call it. Just calling it, a good day.
It is. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, which is going to bring us to today's topic.
What is today's topic?
Working through the holidays.
Yeah. We've talked about that. I don't know. I gave you a bunch of different topics, and you went with working through the holidays.
Well, yeah, it's one of those ones because there are, our peers are there. Some of our peers have said, "Hey,
we're taking the week off."
We're taking the week off.
I think that they took this entire. Of course, to be fair,
one
of our peers got engaged this week.
Yeah.
So that was his whole plan, was to make this whole week a partying love engagement week thing. Well, of course, he worked his buns off prior to this too. So
yeah,
I'm not even remotely begrudging him that.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that working through the holidays is one of those ones that should be a personal choice, but not always is.
Yeah, that's true. We talked about that in the car yesterday a bit. One of the things that you run into when you're working for other people is sometimes, congratulations, you get to work the holidays.
Yes, you've been nominated.
Some companies take volunteers,
mm-hmm.
which is usually a very good place to start. Some folks don't celebrate Christmas. Some folks, so it doesn't matter to them. Some folks don't have anyone to celebrate with, so it's okay to them.
Mm.
Some folks do it on different parts of the year, so it's okay. They don't do it on Christmas Day, so they celebrate, a couple days later, so it's okay with them.
Well, some industries it's actually required to be working.
Yes, and sometimes it's required.
And
I'm just saying sometimes it's voluntary. I think if you're going to do it voluntarily, that's your best way to do it.
Yeah, let's be realistic. There are some industries that are required. For instance, if you're in the entertainment industry,
mm-hmm.
working New Year's,
it's just going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's an expectation.
If you are in the sports entertainment industry, if you are in if you work for one of the stadiums,
mm-hmm.
you're going to work New Year's.
Yeah, for the bowl games.
Yes. If you are a football player, you're going to work on the holidays.
If you are, here's one I actually personally did. If you work in a movie theater, you're going to work during the holidays.
Yes, movie theaters are extremely popular for Christmas movies. And Thanksgiving. Yes,
I actually had an interview that spelled it out. It's like, yeah, you will come in or you will be fired.
At least they spelled it out.
Yeah.
I got to give him major credit for that. Now, did you get a holiday wage for that?
No. This was back in the evil dark ages, where us underlings, our lower management, we banded together and basically threw a party for ourselves.
Well, good for you.
It was one of those things. It's you got your official channels, you got your unofficial channels, and me coming up, I worked the unofficial channels really hard. You still do. I still do, and it's one of those things that's kind of important to recognize is enabling those unofficial channels.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we partied hard and made it a festive kind of event.
Oh, good.
I want to say it was like one of the Thanksgivings we did a movie premiere.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember. I want to say it was Pulp Fiction or was another big movie.
With the big breaker.
Been the big ones, and since there's no way that management's going to be there in the wee dark hours of the night.
No.
And
so you did like a midnight movie premiere?
Yeah, with the staff members. It was some of the staff members. The projectionist was just this super chill. Stumbled into this job in his late 20s and was like in his 50s. It just a really laid back individual running the projections, and he came across and said, "Okay, hey, we're gonna do this cool movie, and if and so yeah, we cleaned up all the stations, made everything all nice and pretty, and then at like 2 o'clock in the morning, we fired up the projector and we all sat there and watched this thing.
Oh my god!
Cranked up the sound." All the things that would really make a movie theater awesome.
You did it.
We did it.
That's very cool. I do not have a story like that.
Well,
but I'm glad that you do.
Well, yeah,
and other people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Now you worked a long time in retail. Now there had to be like holiday parties and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Early on, mostly. More than anything, what they did is they just put out food for you. Nothing. And now there were a couple of times when I was working at Shopko where we actually had off-site parties. We went over and everybody went over to the Red Lion and we had a party. Did that twice. Was fun. Had a good time.
How about when you were doing the radio?
No.
Okay.
I was working the graveyard, so I didn't. I kind of no. I don't know if there was. I wasn't invited. Let's put it that way. Or I wasn't able to make it, or something. I don't remember anything like that. No, I take that back. There was one. There was one. We went up to the Weinsteins and had a party up there.
Okay.
Said that, and then had a few situations where we did, parties at someone's houses. Small things. Company parties are rarer. Usually, so they just put food out for you. So here you go, because everyone's on shift, so you're just kind of trying to figure it all out. But overall, there was at least in the earlier days, it was a lot more common to see that kind of camaraderie, teamwork, team building kind of situation. Like, hey, we appreciate you're doing this. Come and come join us for this celebration kind of thing.
Yeah, and that.
I don't know if that happens anymore.
Well, we're kind of long on the tooth.
Yeah. There's no question about that.
When I'm trying to think, we did a bunch of those when I was running TTCC. We had off-site parties and on-site parties.
Yeah. Well, and you also were running it. That had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I had. Well, it's one of those things. I was in charge. I wanted to make good stuff happen, despite tough times.
Exactly, and times were tough.
It's like I organized you to bake more than one cake.
Gosh, yes.
use your skills for
good.
good,
and I did, and I enjoyed it, and everyone seemed to have a good time.
Yeah, because even when you're struggling, if you got some skills, you could be put to use.
Put something together, yeah. Usually works.
I'm trying to think. Back to Treetop. Yeah, my final days was more about being a dad and struggling through the crazy exhaustion.
Yeah, he was working graveyards. I was working days, and we were trying to get off. So it was a lot of tiredness going on there more than anything.
So yeah, that was, but there was, by that point, Treetop, most of the parties were just done.
Yeah, they were just dead. By the time I left Safeway, again, they would put out a tray of food, and our Christmas bonus was a 10% coupon, 10% off purchase coupon. You get 10% off your purchase of $75 or more. You had to buy groceries to get your bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So there you are. The big corporate doesn't do it right, and it's up to the bosses in the corporate situation.
Yeah, the individual bosses. I know.
Your store managers can make things happen.
Oh yeah, and that's what most people don't realize is there's management decisions made all the time, particularly around bonuses.
Oh my gosh!
I remember at Banta.
Bonuses. You're funny.
Say, Alexa, mute. At Banta, our little section was killing it.
Yeah.
There was one month I built, $500,000.
That's awesome. You were rocking it.
But the bonus structure that was set up, we weren't going to get a dime.
Yeah. Your management, I imagine your manager got a dime.
Well, he looked at it and said, okay, yeah, you guys are going to get, I think it was like 2 or 3% of production. Okay.
Okay, 2% of $500,000 ain't too shabby. Oh, that's billing though. That's different.
That's billing. That's different. This is net. And this was surprise. It was several $100s of surprise. Here you go. Good job.
Because he stepped up.
Ah. It was our site manager, saying, "Hey, corporate, these guys are doing good. Look at these numbers. Mm-hmm. You need to change policy." Mm-hmm. And I think that was one of the years we ended up going to what's the big tall building in Seattle?
The Space Needle?
No, the black one.
I don't know.
It's one of the towers there.
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that.
It's
big tall. Let me Google big tall black tower.
Yeah, it used to be owned by the Bank of America. I can't remember who owns it now. But there's a nightclub on top, exclusive club on the top of it.
Okay.
And that's where we went to dining, and they gave us this big snooty meal.
It's nice.
It was nice. It was one of the guys was a member of this club.
Ah.
And this is back in the day when they had like cigar bars.
The Columbia Center?
That would be at the Columbia Tower.
There you go.
And it was one of those ones. And so, yeah, we went out there and had that. He got some money thrown down to us. Mm-hmm. But that was, a boss saying, "Hey, let's make these guys a little bit, let's make a difference."
Yeah. Well, not like you didn't earn it.
Okay. It's not about earning.
Okay.
Because, if business, this was the same company that because one of the plants was only forecasted as 6% growth, they shut it down.
Because they weren't going to make a high enough growth?
A growth estimate.
Oh my gosh. So you had some of your middle manager people were actually pretty awesome.
Some of the middle managers, the uppers,
not necessarily. Are rarely necessarily, my love.
But that's you got to have a connection there, and when you're in charge, that's what matters. Is you're always in charge of your life. So if you're in that state of, hey, you know what, I'm making these guys millions of dollars a year, and I'm not being compensated, it's time to start going for the door.
Yeah. Well, you know what their incentive, their thoughts are, well, if you want that, you need to work your way up in the company.
Yeah, but often you're not provided those opportunities.
No.
Look at Treetop was a good example.
There you go.
You're welcome to apply elsewhere.
Uh-huh.
Code, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay here and be miserable until you die.
Uh-huh. Nope, totally get it.
So yeah, there are points where you got to take control of your life. I commend people who's stepping out, but I also commend the middle managements who promote the growth in the team.
Yeah, and that they do exist.
They do exist.
Middle management's got a bad rap, but there are some awesome managers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some real skunks, but there are some really awesome ones out there. I've had a couple of really good bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some not so good bosses, but I've had some people that I really.
Well, you had one of your bosses stepped up one year. Mm-hmm. Then they were getting big fat bonuses for everything, and they split it among your team members.
Yeah. And the next year they were told unequivocally, you are not allowed to split the money amongst your team members. You cannot give them financial. You can't give them money out of your bonuses. So we got little presents instead. But still, that's says a lot about upper management there, doesn't it?
It does, and that's one of those ones that you're no longer with the company.
That's the reason I'm no longer with the company. But yeah, I mean, my boss understood the value that myself and my coworkers provided to the team, and he got a kick-ass bonus.
Oh yeah, we're not talking small bonuses.
And giving us our little pieces that he gave us didn't even put a dent in it.
Yeah,
So I don't understand why corporate got bent out of shape about that, but
because it took control away from corporate.
Okay, it's a power thing.
It's a power thing. Well, there's a certain level of keeping people struggling.
Yeah.
So that they don't escape.
Yeah. Is that conscious, do you suppose?
I, at this point, think everything is a conscious decision.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that the whole Great Resignation. There was a podcaster interview I caught not too long ago on an economist who mentioned that because there were programs in place, even the $1,400 check that we waited 6 months for was enough of a financial stimulus that people could do that. Hey, wait a minute, I'm worth something. I can go look elsewhere and find something to improve my life.
Yeah.
So there's a certain level. It's why wages have stayed stagnant for so long.
Oh yeah.
Despite record profits.
Oh yeah. Your CEOs are making a stupid bank.
Yeah, it's lopsided.
It's completely lopsided, and that's one of the problems we're running into in an economic situation. Trickle down economics doesn't work. Even on paper, it doesn't show that it works. One of the things that I was reading, and this was really interesting, and it was the Dickensian meme.
Dickensian meme.
Bob Cratchit. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Bob Cratchit was earning blah blah per. Hold on, Bob Cratchit meme. Keep talking. Say something.
Yeah, the one she was Bob Cratchit in the Scrooge tale was making so much money a year, and it really hasn't changed. They had some really geekery that went down to it. It's like, we can't really prove that because it depends on what period it was. And it was miserly, and then they put in the translation for the pounds to dollars, but it was basically the whole story of Scrooge.
Yeah,
was that it required supernatural powers for this miser to change his mind, and there's a point where it's like, you shouldn't have to rely on the supernatural for the natural world.
No. Is this it? Okay. My attention was caught by Bob Cratchit's salary. He makes $15 bob a week. I got curious and looked into inflation and conversion to American money. If a Christmas Carol happened this year, Bob Cratchit would be making $27,574 per year in American money. If someone works 40 hours a week at the current federal minimum wage, they'll make $15,080. So Bob Cratchit, the epitome of poverty, makes $12,494 more than minimum wage workers full-time each year. And I'm sure that's been tweaked since then, but and then there's different variants on it. But we are the epitome of miserliness and Dickensian poverty. Our people, I mean, current Americans making minimum wage aren't even making that much. How sad is that?
Well, think about what we do.
Okay.
We're commission only.
Yes.
And
terrifying to start with that.
And yeah, a lot of people are terrified about that.
I was.
Yes, you were. And we had to ease into it. It took us, years.
It did.
To get to the point where we were both working strictly on commissions.
Right.
However, we traded that with personal freedom. Yeah, there's plenty of times where we went without socks. But think about how many people it's like, hey, come do this. You can change your life. We literally split the profits with people.
Mm-hmm. Don't even hesitate.
We don't even hesitate. It's like, no, it's like, how much you pay? Well, we'll do a split. And think on how many people are terrified of that concept.
I totally understand that. How long did I do 2 jobs? This job, which was commission only, plus a salary job, hourly job, because I was afraid of going straight commission.
Yeah.
So that was, I was terrified when you said, I want to go into insurance. I want to work for commission. And I just about plotzed. I didn't want you to do it.
And there's trade-offs to that.
There is.
And there's very positive trade-offs to that. However, people have this condition. I saw a poll recently, what's easier, working for a salary job or working for yourself?
That's not easy to answer anymore. There's too many factors.
You know why? It's because you're a feral employee.
I'm a feral employee.
You're feral. You've done it long enough that you don't want to go back to working for someone else.
No, no.
But I was like looking at that poll, and this was one of those polls on LinkedIn, and like 2,000 people responded, and 75% were like, "Oh, it's easier to work for someone else." And a salary.
Certain situations, sometimes when you're working for yourself, gosh, it's apples and oranges. It's so hard you can't compare 1-to-1 on this one. You've got to look into yourself and it's like, well, is it easier for you? What's easier for you might not be easier for the next guy. It's some people will never want to work for themselves because they just have no desire to do that.
And there's some people who are working for someone else because they think it's better, and they don't realize there's another way.
Right, and that's the people that need to think about their lives. You're not trapped, is what we're getting at.
And that is a huge one. Is how do you run for the door?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I've always said if you're going to quit your job, have something else lined up. I've said that. I don't necessarily know if I necessarily believe that anymore. But you don't want to just, unless it's a really toxic situation, you don't want to just up and quit.
Well,
that's something lined up.
Think about what I did with TTCC.
Okay.
I answered an ad on Craigslist.
Oh, yeah. But you had that lined up and ready.
I took a phone interview.
Yeah.
I never met anyone.
No, but you had a job. Not a clue what kind of job it was or what it was going to entail and how long it was going to last. But you had something lined up before you left Treetop.
It could have been a stinking prank.
And I was still working 40 hours a week at a solid
But
job.
that was the epitome of, oh my gosh, this is nuts. Walking in on a job site with someone I had never met.
Never did meet.
Saying, hey, congratulations, I'm in charge. And my first task was to fire people.
Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, that is the sheer, oh no, like I said, never met anyone associated with the company.
Yep. Talked to him on the phone. Awesome guy. Ruben spoke 5 different languages, ran small business all over the United States. An amazing man. I can't speak highly enough because he gave me the opportunity to do that, hone some skills, and go off and do what I'm doing now. But that was one of those things. It's just like, every day I walked in there, it was like, is this real? Oh yeah. Because
it was that weird.
But you loved it.
Saying is not like, I learned a lot of just bizarre things about how the federal government works.
Oh yeah.
There's a certain level of risk intake when you take things into your own hands, but the trade-off is it's in your own hands.
That's right. You always have the power for yourself.
And however, a lot of people don't realize that, or they feel they're trapped. I've got, buddies all around the world. And one of them is like, dude, you got to get out of that situation. Dude, you got to get out of that situation. Just.
Oh, fear will keep you trapped for decades.
Well, some of it's legal.
Oh, yeah.
I've known a couple that because they're really independent, they're really strong-willed. They don't know. They live a hard life because it's a habit. Always be hard.
Mm-hmm.
However, sometimes being hard get you cracked upside the head.
Yeah.
And they haven't learned that lesson.
Nope.
There's
That's
times,
a tough lesson to learn.
Yeah, there's time to be hard, time to be soft.
Yep.
And that's an important lesson. So yeah, it's, as a person, you got to decide, hey, is it worth working here during the holidays?
Yeah.
We try to have as much fun as possible because it's fun.
And we work for ourselves, so we have a good time. It reminds me, if you were one of the people we drew names for yesterday, come get your prize.
Yeah, the most frustrating thing is when you want to celebrate and give out things and no one shows up.
Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to throw something out here. If you are listening to our podcast today, if you're right now at all, if you see this, today is the 23rd of December. Come by our office. We're going to give you something. Period. End of discussion. We're going to give you something.
We got stacks of stuff to give.
We got stacks of stuff to give away. You're going to get something. And it might be, it might be a $5 gift card from Starbucks. It might be something awesomer than that. You're walking out of here or something. Come to my office, stop in, say hi, and we're going to give you a prize.
We're going to have fun.
Yes. So, and we're going to,
And we will leave it at that.
Yeah. So we will leave it at that. So have a Merry Christmas.
So we're out of here at 4.
I didn't realize you called it at 4.
I don't want to have someone, pull in here and then discover, where do they go? I want my prize.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
All right. So have a Merry Christmas. We will talk to you again shortly before the new year.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.